Hello cardboard lovers, it's Cardboard Badger here, and today we have another deck tech for you by the name of Blue-White Unblockable Aetherflux. So, before I begin, I just want to point out that if you enjoy this or any of the other videos, if you can take a few seconds of your time just to like, share, comment or subscribe, it will help support the channel a huge amount. Both myself and Badgie will be eternally grateful. Also, we are now on Patreon, with all pledges getting tickets to Patreon only giveaways, so even a $1 pledge could win you some massive Magic the Gathering prizes. So let's start this budget deck tech, which if you play with basic lands will cost you about £11 and is based around the Cheerios deck from Dev from MTG about a year ago. With many other cards rotating out, I thought while the two main cards are still in standard, it might be fun to revisit this deck and continue to play low mana spells, although not as low as originally, and use creatures who are unblockable. Pump them up with equipment and hopefully gaining life with multiple spells, which we will cast each turn. Then we can finish off by triggering Aetherflux if able, just as an extra win condition. We are playing a total of 20 creatures, starting off with a playset of, for no mana, Ornithopter, 0/2 flyer. This is good. This can be a blocker. This will be good to trigger, if we can get this down straight away, various other creatures, one of which is coming up next. A playset of Toolcraft Exemplar, the Dwarf Artificer. If we can get an Ornithopter out and also an Exemplar on turn 1, that will be quality. Then on our combat phase, on our second turn, it will trigger Toolcraft Exemplar to get the +2/+1. So we can hopefully go in for 3 points of damage on turn 2, which is fantastic. So yes, we have a playset of those. Next, we have, for 1 blue, a playset of Slitherblade. He is a 1/2, but he can't be blocked. So this is pretty important. It's only 1 point of damage, but it is massively important with some of the items that hopefully we can put on this Naga Rogue. Next we have a playset of Mist Cloaked Herald. Also 1 mana, also unblockable. It is a 1/1 Merfolk Warrior. And our final creature, we have a playset of Glintnest Crane at the top of our mana curve for 1 and a blue for our creatures. We have a bird. It is a 1/3, so it could be a blocker. And when Glintnest Crane enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So this is great. It's a flyer, so we've got some evasion. It's got the chance of finding us another Ornithopter or an artifact equipment that we can then attach to one of our unblockables and make them stronger. Next we have the non-creatures, starting with the 2 main cards. A playset of both. We have a playset of Aetherflux Reservoir for 4 mana, and it is an artifact whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you cast this turn. You can pay 50 life if you happen to have 50 life, and it deals 50 damage to target creature or player. So for every cheap spell we do, if we do 1 in 1 turn, we gain 1 life. If we do a second spell in the same turn, we will gain 1 life for the first spell, 2 life for the second spell. We add those together, we get 3. If we did 3 spells, it would be 1 plus 2 makes 3, and then the third spell, that's 3, totaling 6. So it won't take many spells, because they're so cheap, to gain a reasonable amount of life. We basically have no combat tricks or removal. So if we are getting hit, hopefully the reservoir will enable us to gain some life and continue until we can just scoop everything up with our second card, which is Paradoxical Outcome for 3 and a blue. This is amazing. It's an instant, and return any number of target non-land, non-token permanents you control to their owner's hand, and then you can draw a card for each card returned to your hand this way. So if we had 4 Ornithopters out, if we had 4 Slitherblades, we've got 8 creatures. If we had a couple of equipment as well, say we had 10 on the battlefield in total, and we can drop one of these, we can scoop all of those back up again, and then draw another 10 cards. This would probably only be practical if we had Aetherflux Reservoir out, because that is the one we can choose to keep there, and then we can dump, if we've got the mana, all our things back down again to continue to clock up as many spells as possible within one turn, gaining a huge amount of life. Next we have, for 1 mana, a playset of Prime Blade. It's an artifact, it's an equipment, and equipped creature gets +1/+0, which isn't great, but we've got the added bonus of whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, we can create a treasure artifact token, tap it, and add 1 mana of any colour to our mana pool. We just need to save these up for the big hit when we do as many spells as possible in one turn. We can stick this on an Ornithopter, and then that can start getting in for damage, which is great. So, or pop it on one of our Unblockables, and again, get more damage in. Next, we've got a playset of, for 1 mana, Curious Obsession. For 1 blue, we have an enchantment aura. You can enchant a creature, and that creature will get +1/+1, and has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. So again, if we can get this on an Ornithopter, straight away we can get in for 1 damage, and we can also keep drawing cards, which is mighty important. Next we have Inventor's Goggles, a playset of artifact equipment for 1 mana, and a quick creature gets +1/+2. This is pretty good. We've also got the bonus of whenever an artificer enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach Inventor's Goggle to it. So if we can get this one down, and then we can get our Toolcraft Exemplar down, then we don't have to pay the equip cost of 2. We can just put them straight over onto him, which is fantastic. And we also have our final card, actually. We have Moment of Truth. It is 1 plains, 1 white mana. It's an instant, and target creature gets +2/+2 to end of turn, and you gain 2 life. So a little combat trick. It might keep one of our dudes alive, and we get a bit of life. So yeah, it's cheap. It possibly could save the day. Finally, finishing off with the lands, we've got 2 Inventor's Fair. Inventor's Fair is quite good. At least we can sack it, we can search, and we can go and look for our Aetherflux Reservoir if we don't happen to have one in play. We also have the opportunity of gaining a life each turn if we have 3 artifacts. Other than that, we have 9 plains and 9 islands, and that is the entire deck. Just some advice: if you happen to have any glacial fortresses lying around, swap them over with the basics, as a playset of them will actually cost more than this entire deck. So I think last time I looked, you're talking about £13–14. So that is more than this entire deck. If you happen to build this deck and you don't have the glacial fortresses, and you win 3 boosters over time, you've actually covered your costs. So hopefully this should be quite a fun deck. If anyone plays it in any form, please let me know how you get on. I hope you've enjoyed this deck tech. Let me know in the comments what you think, and also let me know in the comments below what you would change, as I'd be very interested in your opinions. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I will see you all again soon here on Cardboard Badger.